Hey, hello everyone.
Hello.
Way today. She can't make it to the meeting today, so I'll be filling on her behalf. So yeah, welcome to the PeerDAS breakout call. I think we don't have much items on the agenda today, so maybe we'll just start with a few client updates. Does anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I can start. Yes, so for Prism, about PeerDAS, we run reconstruction in parallel. Before, when we wanted to reconstruct the matrix, we reconstructed it blob by blob, which took some time. Now we do it in parallel. And also, for Supernode, for Supernode, we used to consider that a block was available only when we receive the whole 128 data columns. Right now, we consider the block is available if we receive only 64 columns. Of course, 64 verified columns. Why 64? Because when we have 64, we know we are able to reconstruct. This is it. And also, yes, we fixed important memory leak we had from the beginning in our PeerDAS branch. It was a cache issue, actually, and now there is no memory leak anymore. Yes, it was mainly that for the last week.
Cool, thanks, Manu. I can go next for Lighthouse. So in the last 2 weeks, we've been mainly working on stabilizing our DAS branch. We've had a few issues in DevNet 1 that we still haven't solved yet. One of them is the PeerDAS KZG library that we are running into a Stack Overflow issue. Kev is looking into this at the moment. And at the moment, we have to do a workaround to increase the stack size just for now, but we're hoping to get this fixed properly this week. And then other than that, we're also investigating our sync issues and trying to focus on getting our DAS branch changes onto our main branch. Yeah, so a bit of refactoring work, a bit of tech debt fixing, and we're trying to make sure that we can serve the data column by range requests reliably hopefully before the next DevNet. So that's our focus right now. Yeah, that's it for Lighthouse.
I will talk about Teku. We are passing our alpha 3 reference tests. We had all logic before DevNet, but the structures were not updated. So we have updated it. We did a lot of work around observed deadlocks, potential deadlocks, around client stability, and we plan to continue on this side because it's a bit prototype and buggy, and we want to improve stability and that tests to make the client more stable. Also, we finally merged sampler. It was ready for a long time, but we decided to refactor it. And we want to combine custody and sampler, but we will do it maybe in a month. And currently I'm working on lossy DAS sampler. Both samplers will only lock at the moment. We are not planning to turn on for choice to stop imports with one trailing slot. I'm not sure it's in current testnet if it makes sense. That's all for Teku.
Great, thanks. All right, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, so for Nimbus, We're currently mainly solidifying the code around the P2P interface. Last week for DevNet 2, we tried to have a supernode variant, but on some further interrupt testing, we discovered some issues with syncing. It looked like our normal node is sort of sending out some bad range requests, and turns out we had some issues in maintaining the valid custody peer set. So we are currently working on that. Apart from that, the last 2 weeks, we have also collaborated with Kev to initiate the Rust PeerDAS crypto backend integration. And I think we are passing some of the fixture tests. I think if Kev is here, he can, oh, okay, he's not here. He could have probably elaborated more on that. We had to refactor some of our reconstruction logic because of the new and recent developments of the PeerDAS spec in general. And speaking of PeerDAS spec, for the past couple of weeks, it was sort of a blocker for us to use CKZG's DAS branch because some of the non-PeerDAS code was conflicting with our base branch. So we were kind of using a fork of the DAS branch, and we were passing all crypto tests from there. And now, due to the recent merge, we are in process of bumping up CKZG in order to be compatible with the base branch and as well as the PeerDAS branches. In general, we are also investigating ways to maintain the least amount of diff from the base branch, but I think that can be only executed to completion when uh, the fork logic is finalized, or in general, if we have a finalized fork epoch for the next DevNet. And this week we mostly started working on sampling, so looking forward to finish that up in till the next PeerDAS breakout. So that's all from Nimbus.
Thanks, Kritish. Does anyone else want to give an update?
Yes, Audrus from Grandina team. So a few folks from fellowship program are working on PeerDAS. I know they did some progress. However, as far as I know, we still have some syncing issues. So not that big update so far.
Cool. Thanks, Solius.
I can go follow star. So basically, we were able, so we successfully refactored all our sync as well as unknown block syncs or partial block syncs where only the root was known, or where not all data columns were available in the concept. So basically, overall, the entire thing is sort of working now, and we also added ability to be a supernode through param. So if one can specify that CLI param, then we can also act as a supernode. Right now, we added some tests for the block production data column synthesis part, and so we are passing that. So we should also be able to do block production in the testnet. Apart from that, we will now sort of add sampling onto it. And I think one more thing that we should do before the next DevNet start is we should basically also include the metadata custody PR, so that, because I think that is sort of a missing link as of now, because if there is an incoming connection, we assume its custody to be minimum basic custody. So for the next DevNet, let's basically have this sort of a complete thing where we have this complete data and we know what our peers offer us, so that we can do a better syncing and have a good stable DevNet.
Cool. Thanks, Gajinda. I think there were some comments around the Meta V3 spec PR. I'm not sure what the status is. Maybe I'll add action to follow up on that PR. Has everyone gone yet? Any other updates? Okay, cool. Looks like we don't have DevOps today. I guess there was a discussion on Discord last week regarding DevNet 2 launch, just in case if any of you missed it. It's been postponed and all the clients are focusing on getting the clients more stable and reliable before we launch DevNet 2. So there's no DevNet 2 now, but maybe we can start thinking about what we want to include in the next DevNet at some point. Does anyone want to talk about any DevNet 1 issue that are still outstanding before we move on to the next DevNet?
During the last DevNet, I guess some clients have had issue with initial syncing. At least Prism had, and some other clients as well, I guess. I think we should have clients should have a correct initial sync for the next DevNet. So it will be easily possible to add a new nodes after the DevNet start.
Yeah, agreed. I think we should also make sure that we can serve the data column RPC endpoints reliably. I think that was like one of the issues that we had in the previous DevNet as well. Anything else to add for the next DevNet? I guess we have syncing and we also have metadata v3. I'll just write some notes and see if anyone else want to add any more items for the next DevNet.
I wanted to basically like cross check with every one of y'all, like when should the PeerDAS get activated? Because for Nimbus, it's a bit problematic to activate it at Deneb. So if any one of y'all have any alternate input, that would be really great.
Is it because you have PeerDAS as a separate fork?
Yeah. That's how we were working it out, because we had the assumption that it would be a separate fork when we started working on it, and it's currently much diffed with Electra, so there is no way we can merge or I mean we can rebase, but again that would be significant refactoring, and maybe we might miss out on the next DevNet as well if we do that. So a bit doubtful on that, confused as well. Yeah.
So the way Lotsar sort of has handled it is that, I mean, so the current Electra branch is separate and the PeerDAS branch is sort of forked out of Deneb. And what we have done is basically, I, for example, have created a fork in that branch. And so what I do is using the config and epoch and epoch variables, I basically schedule it on that particular epoch, and that seems to be working out fine for me on a dynamic Genesis. So what exactly is the issue that you are facing?
So what we were doing initially is we were picking up the PeerDAS fork version and epoch, and we were like at the very beginning we were replacing it with Electra, but then we realized that the DevNet starts at Deneb, so we were replacing it at Deneb. And since we were replacing it, it was like the logic to like have some of the PeerDAS functionality going was sort of like if I am at a fork version greater than equal to deneb, but I'm just having too much of a blob activity as well, and that is sort of making like just using up more resources in general. So that is why I was asking. Yeah.
So you mean you are doing blob API calls and all that as well?
Yeah, like we were doing, like if I don't obviously comment out stuff, we would do because we went with a design like that, but yeah, there is no way to have it backward compatible at this point. Yeah.
But you would sort of need to do the same thing whenever we merge it in Electra and activate it at a certain epoch.
Yeah, but like if we merge it at Electra, I have like we have a separate logic where we can specify that if my fork version is greater than equal to Electra, then do all the PeerDAS stuff like RPC and all of that.
But you right now here, you don't introduce a new fork. You just are replacing deneb fork. That is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you should just add a new fork, I mean, to simplify your life. You can just add it as Electra and use that the variables.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But like again, that would probably I don't know about if we were to refactor and like have a lesser diff from Electra. But yeah, I mean that would do. But like I think from our perspective, if we activate PeerDAS, if we have a deneb genesis and we activate PeerDAS at a slightly later epoch, that would be helpful because I think while running kurtosis, I was checking the config and it just says that fork epoch of PeerDAS as well as deneb is 0. So yeah.
So one of the ways basically this can be sorted out for you is that, let's say in first few epochs, there are no data columns / blobs. So that way, basically, you could configure, for example, to
Yeah.
activate your stuff at epoch 1.
Right, and thereby keeping the backward compatibility as well for blobs, I guess. Is it? Uh,
Yeah.
I
So
think so.
maybe
Yeah.
when the next DevNet is launched, maybe for a few epochs, we don't start any blob TXs.
Right, exactly. That would be good. Yeah, Dustin has a question.
So Dustin, what do you mean by fake deneb start?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean that PeerDAS will never exist in DNF. Never. It won't redeploy. Yeah, it's fake.
I think there's some audio issue.
Yeah, so this is mostly an artifact of how interop was done because we're working on PeerDAS and Electron parallel. So this is why we build off the neb for now. Yeah, I agree. Like it'll never be deployed during the neb, but the ultimate goal would be to have it after Electra. I do not know when that will be. I think DevNet 2 is still early to do that.
But how will sort of this basically change anything? I mean, basically, in my eyes, it's just rebasing PeerDAS on top of Electra when that happens. So does that basically impact things in any real sense?
For us, no. It's so we've already like worked it out. We can build it on top of either Dineb or Electra. But from what I understand, it's not that simple for Nimbus because they have to do a lot of stuff to get it to work. But right now, if you would configure PeerDAS on Electra, Prism would be able to do it.
I mean, also we shouldn't rush towards rebasing it on top of Electra because that code base is sort of moving and it would then require multiple rebases as we move along. And I think it would be best that we rebase on top of Electra towards the end to avoid spending those dev cycles.
Yeah, I don't know about the other clients. Like, I think Electra is not in a stable state yet where we can comfortably build on top of it because there still hasn't been a long running Electra DevNet. So for testing purposes, it makes sense to go with the Neb for now.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think
And
that
for
would,
Nimbus, maybe
yeah.
we can make sure that when we launch the DevNet, we don't start blob spamming from the beginning and maybe from few epochs down the line, depending upon what epoch Nimbus is comfortable with. And from that point on, I guess everyone should be on board.
Yeah, I think that is that can be a like the most minimum workable way out. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, agreed.
Cool.
But
Uh-huh.
in general, that would still make that would still make our code base kind of non-mergeable. But yeah, but okay, like it should work enough for testing. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we should not basically worry about mergeability as of now because we know that Electra is basically quite big and it's changing, and there are few other things that are being being pushed on Electra, like stable containers for CL. So I think we should not just worry about merging it into Electra as of yet, and just focus to get the PeerDAS functionality working properly.
Yeah. Okay. Seems okay to me.
Anything else related to DevNet? If not, I thought the items to talk about, but I think there are two main big spec changes coming. One is Francesco's fork choice and validated custody, and the other one is Pop's decouple subnet change. I'm not sure if client team has had a chance to look at it yet, but I feel like it would be great if we can have those two spec changes finalized soonish, so we can prepare. Manu?
Yeah. Actually, I have a question about validator custody. Right now, if a node doesn't custody the good amount of colon, so we can don't score him. For example, if the Ethereum node record announced, I don't know, 4 subnets, let's say 4 colons, and if the node actually doesn't reply to, let's say, request by route for the given columns, we can don't score the node. And at the end, the peer will be ejected from the peer set. But with validator custody, I'm not sure how we can ensure that a node really sets in its node record the good amount of custody columns. For example, if a node had, let's say, 100 validator attached, so normally he should custody all the columns, and so the node should say on its record, the node has 128 custody subnets. And if the node, instead of that, just announce its custody 4 subnets, I think we don't have really a way to ensure the node isn't lying. Yeah, and so we cannot penalize the peer in such a case. I don't know if you see what I'm saying or not, and if yes, if you have an idea of how to solve this issue.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. So you're saying that we can't really enforce the validators to be honest about how many validators they have attached to the beacon node.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure if there's any way to enforce that, but I think we want the older client to be advertising the custody subnet count based on the spec. But I don't know if there's a new way to enforce that. If anyone else have an idea.
Well, I will write a comment on the pull request, and we will see.
Cool. Thanks, Manu. Anything else on spec changes? Yeah, again, I think it'd be good if clients that hasn't looked at the PRs, it would be great to have a quick look, because I think there are quite significant changes that we probably need to think about soon. Yeah, that's it for spec discussions. Anyone else have anything to talk about? I think everyone is still focused on testing with kurtosis, right? Is not having DevNet a blocker for anyone? Cool. Guess it's fine with kurtosis. I think there was one spec PR in the last breakout call from Alex, the one to uncouple the blob limit per block across CL and EL. I think there's an ERP created for that change. It's been raised in the last ACDE. I think the outcome was that client team should review it before the next ACDC. Just in case if anyone's not aware. Any open items to discuss? I guess it's a pretty short one with no DevNet issues. Great. In that case, I think we can finish the call early. Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you in the next call in 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.